What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the n8n tutorial series. Today we're going to be looking at the scheduled trigger node. I'm going to show you how to use it, when you might want to use it, and then we'll run through a quick example workflow for you. So let's get right into it. So here you can see a blank n8n workflow here. We're going to add first step. It's going to be on a schedule. What triggers this workflow? On a schedule. So that's what we're looking at here, the schedule trigger node. So starts off with the trigger interval. You can go seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, or custom. So that just tells you how often do you want this to be running. It's going to execute the workflow automatically at the time you desire, whether it's every few seconds, minutes, so on. So for example, we have days here. How many days between a trigger? Do you want it to run every single day? You know, every other day, you'll pick 2, every third day, and so on. Trigger at hour. Let's say you're wanting a certain update in the morning and you want it to come right when you wake up at 6 a.m. Put it for 6 a.m. You want it at midnight. This just tells you for the certain day it's going to be executing, what hour of the day do you want it to execute at, and then below that, what minute. So, you know, do you want it at 8:30? There you go. That gets you 8:30. So that is pretty much a simple rundown of it. Now, some use cases, why you may want this. For example, what I'll be showing you is, do you want a update about whatever industry you're in or whatever hobby you like to come to your email every morning? You can do a daily schedule where it searches the internet, summarizes the information it sees, and then gets it to you right in your email. You could do something like that. Maybe you run a business and you want to send the weekly market reports or the weekly company reports to your team. You want to get it to your employees every time they get into the office at the beginning of the week so they can see the review of the past week, so on. Maybe your company uses Airtable, for example, and you have a lot of information on there day to day. Every night at midnight, you could back up all that information and put it onto a Google Drive or a Google Sheets so that it's formatted nicely and always updated day to day for your team to see in the morning. There are just so many use cases, and this just it prevents you from needing to go in, manually trigger the workflow, vice versa. It'll just run on the back end. You don't even need to think about it, and you're getting what you want and what you need automatically. Back to our example, we have schedule trigger node. This is going to be, since we're learning AI, n8n, I want to wake up every morning and get some current events, some current news in the AI space, and I want it in my email drafts every morning as soon as I wake up. So this one's gonna be daily. It's gonna run every single day, and I want it, I wake up at 6 a.m. and I want it ready for me at 6 on the dot. So it's gonna be 6 a.m. That's all we need. Now, I want it to search the internet and find relevant news articles. So I'm going to use Tavily to do this. I will go into these specific nodes, and I'm going to go into a lot more complex tutorials in the future, but this is episode 2. We're just going through the schedule trigger node. So if some of this confuses you and you want more insight, that will be to come, so don't worry about it. So we got our Tavily account. I've already set up my API. We're gonna get it to search the internet. What do I want it to search? I just created some quick notes for the video here so that we can get this through quicker. So if I was gonna do a Google search, I would say I want it to search artificial intelligence or AI developments. So then we will go into making it relevant and time sensitive, because this is coming out daily. I'm getting these updates daily. I don't want it searching and finding news articles from last year. So this is where we'll go into adding some options. First of all, we're gonna add a topic. I don't want it to search all the internet. I want it to find news. I want news articles about this. There's gonna be a time range. So the time range is going to be for the day prior. I want to include raw content. And what this does is Tavily will give me a summary of the news article, but I don't want to use Tavily summary. I want to use my OpenAI API to summarize it specifically how I want it. So all this does is instead of summarizing it, it'll still give the summary, but it'll give me the entire article so I can use all that data when I get the summary. And lastly, max results. I don't want this searching forever. I just want this to be a quick thing for now. So I wanted to find 2 articles so it can just be done quickly here. So that looks pretty good. Let's execute this step, see what it finds here. Perfect. So I'm just gonna pin this for now. You can see it's found 2 articles. Here's the first result. Here's the second result. Both of them, the published date was Wednesday, October 29th, which is perfect. That's what I wanted for the time range. And you can see here, it's got the summary of the news article, and here it's got the entire HTML of the kind of web page. So got that search. I want to summarize it in a nice way. So I'm going to get an AI agent. Here, I want it to take all of this data as the input that it's going to be summarizing. So what I need to do here is define below. I have also, you can use, copy and paste this text here, and all this does is, if you wanted to pull in results, for example, you get that result there, you get that result, it's gonna cause a bit of a problem, object. The workaround is pasting what I've done, and you'll see it's got all the information, the URL here, title, score, published date, content, and then the raw content for every single news article it found. So I'm just using 2, it'll have 2. If you wanted 10, it would have all 10 just with this. So we are good to go with that. I'm gonna add a system message telling it what exactly I want it to do with the information. So gonna copy and paste this, and all it says is you are gonna receive 2 news sources about new and relevant news in the artificial intelligence world. Your task is to review the sources. I'm just gonna dot jot or a bullet point and summarize each article, highlighting the most important information. Each summary is in its own separate paragraph because I don't want it combining all the information from all the different news sources or news articles. Each news article is going to be specific about something, so I want to separate that so I can have a clear read through. And that is that. So let's execute this step. We got a problem. Apologies. We have to add what LLM it's going to use here. So I'm going to use Open Router. I like it because you can choose a ton of different LLMs that you want to use right now. I don't need it to be anything crazy. So I'm going to use GPT-5 mini. And now it will run. So give it a second here. Perfect. So we've got this down. We've got the output. I'm going to pin it again here. I said I was going to create a draft, but what I actually want is it just to send it right to my email. I don't want it in my drafts, so let's make that happen. So we got Gmail, send a message. We've got it hooked up to my Gmail account to slowvolve@gmail.com. What it's going to say, today's AI update. It's just going to be in text, and what's going to be in the message is the summary. Perfect. So that's going to be what's in the message. Now we can execute this step here. Boom. Let's check out my inbox. There we go. Today's AI update. And it's got the 2 articles it's found, a summary of them, and this will not run currently. I have to manually do it. So I'm going to save this. What I need to do is activate the workflow. So workflow activated. Now what's going to happen is it's going to run every day at 6 a.m. automatically. It's going to run through this workflow. If you don't have this active, it's not going to work. Something else I do need to note that I forgot to mention is the time zone. Right now for mine, if I go into the settings in the workflow, it's default to Europe and Berlin. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada, so this is obviously not going to be right. So when I set it to run at 6 a.m., it's going to run 6 a.m. Europe, Berlin time, not my time. So that needs to be fixed. So it's easy fix. Just type in Edmonton, perfect, save that. So now when I run this, it's going to be in Edmonton time, not Berlin time. That is one quick example of how you could use the schedule trigger node. Hope you enjoyed. This is just episode 2. We got a lot coming for you, so I appreciate you sticking in. If you have any questions, you can add it in the comments or shoot me an email. I've got my email in the description here. And if you would like my help with anything, if you're trying to run through something, you have a company, you're wanting to implement some workflows into your business to help it run smoother, send me an email. Be happy to work with you. Like always, appreciate you checking in here. Stay tuned for episode 3 coming soon. Cheers.